No, moved to Amiga. Obviously, was moved or forced to.
To me, from the outside looking in, you think his brief was to come to the club and take him to the finals. Each year he did that, and then the last year he obviously took him to the grand final.
And was their best performing
player, and then gets a tap on the shoulder to move on. Obviously, there's things that play behind the scenes, but quite amazing that you tap a guy like Ivan, who's obviously put in a lot in since he's been in the club, supposedly for no money, and you get a tap on the shoulder to say.
One of the things and having a chat with the Brighton Union guys.
I don't know the information.
I don't think anyone does except for those in the inner sanctum. But having a chat with the Brighton Union guys as to where they're at this year compared to last year, they were very comfortable with Ivan moving on, which was interesting. You wonder about the culture of their first 11 last year, where they had a lot of individuals which they didn't really gel as a team. And whether that was basically up to the captain to sort that out, and whether he didn't fulfil that responsibility. And as a result, and he was never a Brighton Union man, Ivan Dulac. And so they've moved him on and replaced him with Darren Kuzma, who is a Brighton Union man. And I think from a unity point of view, I think, as I say, they feel that
the fact that they haven't gone and sourced another captain from another competition, or they've gone to tender for another captain coach, and they've given it to Kuz. Obviously, it's like you're talking about, it's a cultural thing. They just wanted to settle things down probably, and keep long-term players happy with where they're at the club. And like obviously there was issues with Gora and things like that.
And now they've got Compathetos back for a full season, which is basically their replacement, you would imagine.
But it just defies belief. I still can't get my head around it, because surely he's not that. He's not a Marshall Bunting.
He's a likeable person.
I like Ivan, and he's a very good cricketer.
But as I say, it all comes down to the inner sanctum, what they know, and how some people handle adversity. And I think that's one of the issues that Brighton Union had to face. But having said that, Ivan's back captain coaching Amiga, who were relegated last season, and on top of the ladder after 2 rounds in Wilno Shield. And Ivan's finished with scores of 90 and 30, both not out, so yet to register an average for Ivan, but doing his bit.
And it's interesting to note too that the previous coach Ferguson, Clint.
I think so.
C. Ferguson. Has been picked up by East Sandringham. So, you go from relegation to back at the top of the pops with East Sandringham.
He's not playing, is he though?
I don't know. I saw him in pre-season. He looked like he was having a hit, but I'd be surprised
if he had back problems last year.
Did he?
Yeah. So anyway.
He's, look, and obviously Ives gone and replaced him. So it's sort of gone full circle for the last 3 years, where Ivan, I think, wanted to be captain at Amiga and didn't get it, and now he's back there. So anyway.
And then you got Thedos, and then there was the West it's all over. It's musical chairs.
But anyway, getting to Wilno Shield a bit later on, but I guess obviously the results, Kingston Heath got thumped by Elwood in round 1.
But their response in round 2 was impressive, with defeating Brighton Union, we spoke about, making 5 for 275, and they were in a bit of trouble early. But Collison and the new player Pereira.
This is what I'm interested in this year, and I think it's going to be an exciting year for all clubs, because it seems people have gone out and actively sought players, and each team's almost gone and recruited a blue chip or marquee player. I've heard big raps on Pereira
because he bowls as well.
Does he?
Bowls some darts or something like that.
Yeah, they all do. They all bowl these things, but that's a great pickup for them. They get.
They all do.
I don't think I ever seen a Sri Lankan recruit doesn't think they can bowl some sort of.
Well, Razzie bowls pace.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
Anyway, look, 2 tons from
That's great for South, for a club that was deemed as just one-day specialists. They've really grinded those 2 things there.
They had the first game against Bentley United, and I don't think they were embarrassed.
You're right. They 168 they were chasing. 193 they were chasing, and finished 25 runs short, which isn't bad, with the other Pereira, good old Kevy, making 48. But again, Collison 26 on top of it, and then backs it up with 108 not out.
Yeah, he plays his shots, but But
so that's coming south. Elwood, as we've spoken about. Bentley United, obviously still the team to beat. They made 9 for 250 after being 5 for 26. you know, you get all the big marquee names out like
Turner.
Layla and Turner and Russell, and then Simon Richards, who you know, as a middle order bat, comes in and makes 119, and with support with Zaya with 38, and Bentley A&O's own Jared Allen 33. As wicketkeeper, replacing Brett Ernst, who doesn't come back till December.
Where's he?
He's in London still, I think, playing cricket and getting pissed. And yeah, so 9 for 250. Chelsea Heights were out for 73 in reply, with Britt taking 4 for 14. Surridge 3 for 15 in Middlemiss taking 2 wickets as well.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you know, if anyone can challenge Bentley United, good luck to them.
Yeah, they're a solid
competition. We're cheering for them. And Kingston Heath and Hampton Central. Kingston Heath got another win on the board, and you know, they're happy with that after falling short against Elwood. But yeah, Kingston Heath are you know, just slowly improving and racking up the wins, which is good for them. And I think their 3rd season in Longyear Shield, and they rolled Hampton Central all out for 108. So where are they at, Hampton Central? After finishing 5th last year.
Yeah, last year, like I was a big rap for them last year, and I thought they would have made the finals, but I think Steve May left. But I think they, from what I can see, they haven't got the Steve Mays, the Campbell Dwights, these types of guys. So I think they've got some good bowlers from what I heard last year.
Don't they?
Goldie, yeah, they got Dave, but I think they got some good bowlers in Warrie and I think Hunt. I think he played him last year and he did really well. So, you know, I think it was time for them to start getting these kids through rather than relying on these older guys.
Yeah, well, Hunt took 4 wickets against against Kingston Heath. And Mackie, with Damien Cotterfield in full flight, making 110. They finished 9 for 306, Mackie, and LePage Park were rolled for 183 in reply.
They had a horrible year, Mackie, last year.
They did.
I think everyone knows that, but it just shows you the strength of Buddha, who he performs, they generally win. Last year he didn't perform, I think he was injured at the end of the year, and they couldn't really string any wins together, but I think they've got that young labour who's taken 5, so again, they're getting a pretty good blend of youth as well, and all of a sudden they're 2 and 0, and they're looking pretty strong.
They are. Along with Dale Park 76, so again, those trusted names at Mackie doing the job.
And just on the page, they've, from what I've read, they've picked up through the Lankins.
This is the De Silva.
Yeah, and supposedly
He's an
he can
bowler.
bowl. He can bowl. And
He hasn't really done the job with the ball this year, though. He's been hit around, but he's done very well with the bat. I think he made 68 in round 1.
Because he's in that from the Lankins, I think.
That's right.
What do we give him?
Because I think the page are prepared to pay the money. Anyway, and finally, East Sandringham and West Bentley. West Bentley, you know, they won round 1 and they were going to be tested for depth, and they, and you know, obviously they've got a lot of people at Bentley Football Club, so they are in footy club mode and footy trips and so forth. But yeah, they won round 1 and good on them, and particularly their seconds that came up from C grade to Woolno, and they weren't too pleased with that, but they took it on the chin and they won that game as well. But round 2, East Sandringham remained 2-zip. They were all out for 145, but they rolled West Bentley for 119.
Yeah,
so
look, the key there was Dallas getting 6, so I think from what I read that I think they were known for 60, West Bentley now flying.
Wow.
Flying, and then all of a sudden
Spin twins.
The spin came on, like they did against us, slowed things down, but you bowled really well against us. And the experience showed through and rolled it for 119. But again, just having a look at the names and the bowlers again, it's just some quite young guys bowling through the sand. So I think again they got away with one here, and all of a sudden they're 2-zip as well.
Yep, that's right. So I think that leaves with Union, East Sandy, and Uniting.
Well, Union they're 1-1.
Sorry, not Union. Uniting, East Sandy, and Mackie. Yeah, so they're the 3 undefeated teams. But yeah, so Woolno's a very interesting grade this season as well, with as we mentioned, with Ivan Delac going to Omega. Washington Park, you know, they only just missed out on being promoted back into Longview in the grand final last year for the last ball of the game. And
it's been amazing to watch.
Oh, look, from all reports, it's one of the best games in the competition's history. But they've picked up a handy recruit in Ryan Hayward as well. Woolno Shield, along with Manders going to captain coach Aspendale Gardens, and and Bentleigh Uniting just obviously having the strength that they do. So they're four teams that are hard to beat. Marcus Dolman also comes to Washington Park with a good reputation as captain. So yeah, look, it's a strong competition, and clubs like A&A who only won one game last year are going to find it tough to win consistently. But they've also got a Long Shield player back. But also the Hampton Uniteds, the West Bentleys, the Cludens, the Hyatt Wests, I guess, and ourselves. I guess we're the clubs that are in that B grade mix, you could call it, that are trying to work hard to try to get those big scores.
And I think it's only going to be good for everybody, for all these teams that are in Warner.
It spreads the talent of the competition. Yeah.
And it's great football now. It means that now that the teams that are promoted next year are going to give it a shake.
Yeah.
Rather than, you've got the Kingston Heaths who still have to find their feet, the Chelsea Hides who haven't been there.
I think Hampton Central have proven that's the kind of model, when they got back up and performed very consistently last year in the Long Shield after being promoted back.
Because, again, Washington Park, they weren't far away from making up. Imagine if they had a Ryan Haywood walking, and I know they're 1-1 at the moment in Woolnow, but they would be a team that would be hard to beat, I would think. With a Ryan Haywood coming in at 3 or 4. Well,
particularly after only making 123 last week, they were able to defend that and roll Maroon West for 121. So that's a good win for them.
There's a lot of improvement, but again, it's going to be. I'm going to be keenly watching how these guys, especially guys like Ivan, he's made 123 runs, hasn't gone out yet. And I think at the end of the day, Amiga for me and a team like Washington and Aspendale, they're going to be the three that really give it a fair crack, because Aspie looked after Bentleigh Uniting quite comfortably.
That's a huge win. 8 for 321 with Luke Manders making 104, and he took 5 wickets in round 1. So he's.
I heard the guys with Tom Backham's obviously he's a ones player, but he's injured. And he was going to go 83s, and then all of a sudden they rang him up and said you got to play 2s, and he didn't want to, but ended up playing because of his back.
He was injured from the Bentleigh Football Club grand final when he played injured. But so he made 51. You've got the Menakis brothers, so they're a strong team, Bentleigh Uniting, obviously, as we've spoken about, and to be, I guess, defeated so convincingly by Aspendale Gardens was quite surprising. Having said that, week 1 with Aspendale making 321. Bentleigh Uniting have a few blokes who play for Bentleigh Football Club as well, and they had their triple ways. So like most clubs, it just depends how the mix is when it comes to being not at full strength. But as you say, Aspendale Gardens is one of the teams to beat with Manders running the show, and we play them this week.
Who, Aspie?
Yeah, in Woolnow. So over there. So the old city of Moorabbin, just go down to Zone 3. But so they've got other names like Harvey, and I think they've picked up that Andrew Mills who played at Chelsea Heights last year. He was one of these British imports that Brett Ince was trying to shop around. But anyway, so he's gone to Aspendale Gardens, and so it'll be interesting.
I forgot to mention too, is Sandy have a young English import this year too?
Really?
I was speaking to him when he batted round 1. He literally got off the plane on the Wednesday.
Yep.
And he looked okay, but it's strange that maybe it was through Ferguson that they've recruited because of his connections with turf clubs and English. But it was amazing that East Sandy's gone and recruited something like that.
Yeah. So who's A&A's first play this week? You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just turn up and train and play.
Okay, there you go.
Honestly, I don't know. I'm not too sure, but we've got Andy Lee and Raz, who again was probably one of the best all-rounders in the comp last year, coming back.
Yep.
And these guys making runs in the 2s will be pushing for selection, because a couple of guys have missed out on the 1s the last few weeks. So we're going to have a pretty strong team.
Yeah, let's hope.
We've got some momentum moving forward too, and Bill's leading the way, and he's doing a really fantastic job, and Tim Wright's doing Tim White's doing a really good job with the guys at training as well. So it's looking positive. It's looking very good.
Good. All right. Well, hopefully we'll start being more consistent from airing this show.
Not forgetting cameras.
Yeah, that's right. And pulling out last minute. Anyway, so welcome to the start of the season, and we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Good luck to everyone.